We all know in the purpose of our conscious mind. But what is the purpose of our shadow's mind? And this is by far pretty misunderstood. But I do feel like the purpose of the shadow's mind is to protect you. And it's vital in this world that is dual in nature. That's because there is evil in this world. There is things that we need to be protected from. We do need to understand the darkness in order to understand the light in this world. So our brains have to be able to do something with that darkness to protect us. We should just be grateful that it's not always in our conscious mind, all the evil that our brain picks up, right? But even if we don't consciously see it, our brain will. And it will be absorbing this information. So it is to protect us from danger. It is to show us exactly the true dual nature of this world. So in this way, the shadow is to protect. It shows us hidden cycles, it shows us negative ways of being, and it can be used to avoid them, and it can be used to pick the other side. But the problem with the shadow self is not anybody knows about it. Nobody tries to know about it. Nobody is conscious of it. And this is where it really poses its problems. Because when you do not know about it, you fall victim to it. Because it is that subconscious, it is the negative aspect of your being. So if you're not aware of how it is influencing you, then you might just take its bait. You might allow it to rule you without even knowing it. And this is partly to be blamed on culture. It's partly to be blamed on the culture's way of not approving of anything negative and only allowing the discovery of good things, and that's just not the reality. There's a lot of negativity that we store, and this shadow self is what causes people to do horrendous things, if not checked. But as soon as you start to discover the shadow self and you start to understand it, it becomes no threat to you anymore. You simply can say, I see where that's coming from. I know what it is doing to me at this moment, but this moment is not that moment, so stay in your place. You know? It's very much something that can be controlled. It's very much something that can be understood. And when you can do those two things, it poses no threat. It is actually a great source of inspiration and power for you. And this is because it holds all the essence, all the depth of our existence. It holds every negative thing that's ever happened to us. And if used correctly, we can use that negative experience to drive us, to make us passionate for the things that are the opposite of that negative experience. The things that are of our highest nature. And that's another thing about the shadow. It determines your higher nature. We will do this exercise a bit later, but what we will find for this exercise is that every negative quality we have is a direct correspondence to our positive qualities. Yeah. And this is for everybody else too. It sucks. And it's great at the same time. But like, for instance, like, I might have this tendency to be very protective on a negative level. But also, when I use this protectiveness for something that is great, it becomes very positive. It becomes this part of me who wants to protect all that is good and not let evil destroy it. It becomes this part of me who wants freedom for everybody. Healing for everybody. It's coming from that direct negative energy, and it's transmuting to that positive energy. It's not as easy as it seems, eh? Everybody is complex. I know my people in my family who have very negative qualities, like overprotectiveness, worryingness, maybe too much aggression or controllingness. But also they, because of that, are some of the most nurturing and caring people I've ever met. These are polarities of each other. We are those polarities. We are everything that we've ever seen, everything that we've ever felt, all combined into one being. It's not easy to live with that, you know? But that is our condition as humans, you know? We are everything that we've ever felt, everything that we've ever seen, everything that we've ever experienced, all in one. How we use those experiences, though, how we use those feelings, and how we understand them is what can create a good person versus a bad person. Being ignorant of the things that are ruling you, being ignorant of the things that are in your subconscious, or the things that have triggered you, or the things that have caused you to be the way that you are, is only going to cause suffering for yourself and for others around you. So, the purpose of the shadow is to raise you up, not to put you down. It's to protect you and to keep you aware of the darkness in the world, not to keep you part of the darkness of the world. And this is the vital change that needs to happen with you through this workshop. Taking the shadow from something that is holding you back to something that lifts you up. Something that you don't understand to something that you do understand. Something that you don't accept about yourself that you do accept about yourself. And through this you can transform your life. You can transform everything that you are and become what you truly are. Doesn't that sound worth it to you? It's worth it to me. We need to dive into these memories, guys. We need to dive. It's more like free falling, actually. Because the more far you get, the more you see. It's good to keep a humor about it. And it's going to be harder for some people than others. Some people have very, very dark memories that are hidden for a reason. But just know, if you feel like your memory is too dark, that even if you don't deal with it, it's still there. And it's still determining how you feel, think, and move throughout the world. And it will be. So you can look at it and understand it and accept it. This goes for anything. You might be thinking, what about rape? What about murder? Yeah. I mean, it would be hard to understand. That, of course, it would be. It'd be hard to experience it again. Oh, yeah. And I'm not pretending to understand how you would do such a thing. But I do think that unless you can understand that the person who did it to you also had a shadow self, and also could have been completely mad because of it, and you, because of that experience, have become feeling like a victim of that experience your whole life, and maybe in your mind you see yourself more as the person who is raped than the person who you are. And in order to get past that, you have to accept that that is part of your life, that it has happened to you. And that you can move on and be separate from that. If you can't do that, then forever you will be a victim of rape, primarily. And your self-worth could be radically thrown off. We don't want this. Nobody wants this. So I invite you to go into these depths, no matter how hard it might seem, no matter how hard it might look. Go into them one step at a time. You don't have to start with that memory that is the one that you're scared of. But know that when you do get there, if you're really scared of it, then dealing with it will eliminate all of that scared, all of that fear, and give you new perspective to work upon.